I gotta be real, I have no idea where to start. I just know I decided to document my weight loss journey, and that's really all I know. But I just feel the need to go through a little bit of where I'm coming from, or else every piece of content I make regarding this is going to be incomplete in my head. My plan for this was actually to attempt to work it into a vlog of some sort, but unfortunately all of the footage that I filmed was pretty much unusable. Instead, today my offering to the internet is going to be me drawing out what I'm gonna call my progress tracker. It's gonna be basically showing like the weight I lost on a graph. I wrote it in my bullet journal. I'm gonna go into my story kind of like a normal journal and chat with me video while we go through that. But first I just kind of wanted to do a little introduction, maybe go into why I'm doing this. That's something I've been asking myself a lot lately, and the answer finally came to me today. I was watching some video and they mentioned somebody who had lost a lot of weight that's a personal trainer now, and this person looks really good, really fit. Actually doesn't look like they have loose skin or anything like that, but they came from like a place where they were very, very large as well. And they mentioned that a lot of people who are bigger may not understand that that person is coming from a place where they know how that feels. And it just got me thinking about how when I was younger, like when I first started trying to lose weight, like really seriously, I was absolutely starved for content from people that were going through it. Like I really wanted to watch people like me in the process of losing weight. People like as large as me, or even bigger, or even a little bit smaller. It didn't matter. I just wanted to see people who were trying to lose weight and really needed to lose weight, and there wasn't a lot of content like that. I found some people's pages and I would just go back as far as I could through those pages and just see like what they did, like what they were going through, what they ate, what exercises were they doing, etc., etc. And there just wasn't a lot of information like that, and I just really wanted to see more than just like the befores and afters. And basically I saw mostly befores and afters, and just a lot of talking about how much better life is since they lost the weight, and then just kind of being like, you can do it too because you see this picture, I was there. And it was just like, I don't know, I'm not throwing shade on those people, I swear, like there's nothing wrong with that. The point is, I personally really wanted to see the in-betweens, and I think that would have helped me a lot back then. I have actually lost weight, like lots of weight, 2 different times in my life, and due to various issues, I ended up gaining the weight back. I guess what I could say is I'm doing this for younger me, or people, more specifically people who are like younger me, who really just need to feel like there's somebody who is working toward the same goal as them and documenting the entire thing. I mean, in my mind, I have no option but to succeed. I already know I'm gonna succeed. I've already done it before. Nutrition became one of my special interests. And I also have a lot of advice about how to have a healthier relationship with food, I guess, rather than just like restricting yourself to lose weight. There's no option except to succeed for me. So I already know like future Courtney's gonna be out there thriving, but she's also gonna have like her history of how she got to that point. It actually ties into a really interesting message I got. I sometimes have like several songs stuck in my head at once. I like to joke that it's kind of a superpower, but it's really, really annoying actually. But every once in a while, especially if the song is just like really repetitive, I'll kind of like start paying attention to the lyrics and realize that there's actually a message for me in it. And y'all just take whatever you want from this. I'm still gonna share the story because this is actually it's pretty hilariously relevant to what I'm talking about. So there was one that was in Japanese that was stuck in my head a lot, and that was just like right after I realized that sometimes maybe there's messages through these songs that get stuck in my head. And I have a more limited understanding of Japanese than I would like to admit. So I looked up the translation, and one of the lines was like, move forward with an imperfect body. And I had already been getting a lot of like signs and nudges that I need to start a channel and document my weight loss for the past couple years. Like, this is how long I've been resisting it. And it was just, now that I think about it, now that makes perfect sense. It was also like a lot of messages of like, you're not going to heal anything until you like start documenting it and sharing it. And I don't know, it sounds like it's absolutely right, but it's just like interesting how it just ties into that. Yeah, so let's just get right into the art and we'll go into the plan there.
Alright, so this is pretty mostly self-explanatory, I think, so I'm just gonna kind of go into my story and share a little bit of what my plan is as you chill out and enjoy watching this art. Each time I lost any significant amount of weight, I remember eventually I would go into this scary obsession mode where I regarded food as something to fear and as an enemy. It didn't matter if the food was something with proper nutritional value that made the calories worth it. I compensated for meals that I thought were bad through overexercising, and based on history, it appears that I am only able to maintain that pattern for about a year tops before getting frustrated at always being hungry and exhausted and falling completely out of the routines I built. The routines were just not sustainable, and that's the problem. It feels weird to say, but I guess I never viewed food as a source of nutrition. It's always been a source of comfort when I'm in despair or lonely, or even a source of entertainment if I'm simply mouth bored. In its most simple form, it's been a thing that's there to make hunger go away, which I should mention is probably the most uncomfortable feeling in the world to me. The last time I almost got to a healthy weight, I thought I had finally figured everything out, but I was still obsessively counting calories and overworking myself at the gym. I found a magic formula that allowed me to eat more or less whatever I wanted within reason, as long as I worked the numbers right through a huge calorie burn, walking on the highest incline I could on the treadmill at the gym, usually for about an hour, and toward the end of that era, I was going close to 4 miles per hour most of the time. I still somehow thought that I was healthy at that time, but I really wasn't even eating vegetables or anything that could be considered nutritious. In fact, I didn't really like them at all. I loved to joke that I went to the gym so I could eat all the macaroni and cheese and cake that I wanted. What I did have going for me was relative ease with staying within my calorie goals, and perhaps even less intolerance for the feeling of hunger. Looking back on it, I think that might be because I found that a good torture session on the treadmill was often a good substitute for the emotional eating that I used to do when stressed or depressed. In fact, my weight loss skyrocketed in the month of August 2019 when I went through something very personal, and my response to it was to get angry and fight back through lots of exercise rather than curl up and die like I kind of wanted to. I don't think that I had quite gotten into the harmful habits yet at that time, although it would have been nice if I would eat a vegetable once in a while. I probably would have felt more energetic. Anyway, enter 2020. I was still going pretty strong until everything shut down. I had been lifting weights at the gym, but sometime in January I decided that rather than just being strong, I also wanted to be more graceful, so I decided to work on doing Pilates 6 days a week instead of lifting weights twice a week. It was quite the dramatic change, and I didn't even think to reduce the amount of cardio I was doing to compensate for the extra work I was doing strength training through the Pilates, because I just didn't think that what I was doing was enough, even though my body was begging me to ease up just a little. I was hooked on the results I was getting, and there wasn't anything my body was going to do to stop me. Or so I thought. A few months later, I got very sick, and then the whole shutdown happened, which left me with no choice but to slow down. Not being able to go to the gym really messed with me, but despite all that, I still found ways to work out at home by doing various challenges on the exercise YouTube channels that were popular. The problem was that I went absolutely insane not being able to do cardio that gave results that were as great as walking on the treadmill at the highest incline for an hour a day, and even if I knew that the calorie count on the treadmill may not have been completely accurate, I hated having absolutely no idea how many calories I was burning. I even spent money on wristbands that were supposed to calculate that stuff, but it didn't seem to be accurate, and honestly they stressed me out even more. I still somehow managed to get through the year without gaining too much, but it was toward the end of the year that I realized that I was not having a healthy relationship with food and I was hurting myself and had been all along. At the end of the day, overcompensating for your eating with exercise is technically just as bad as purging. I felt there was no way I could possibly have an eating disorder because of my size, and I'm incapable of making myself purge and too weak to endure hunger for a long enough period to lose any significant amount of weight. This realization slapped me in the face, but I don't remember what brought it on. What I did know is that I was more or less on my own for my recovery, because I was already painfully aware of how plus-size people get treated when going in for any kind of ED that would help them lose weight. So I realized that while I wanted more than anything to be a so-called normal size for once, that what mattered more was developing a stable relationship with food. If I couldn't figure out how to do that, then I would just go through the same cycle again and again and fall into self-loathing and harm and make myself very sick. With that in mind, my focus completely shifted on fixing my relationship with food more than weight loss at that time. A good start was trying to unlearn the term relationship with food because it's a source of fuel and it shouldn't be viewed as something that one has a relationship with. The first thing I did was decide that there weren't any rules anymore. I allowed my body whatever it wanted and paid close attention to how I felt after eating. I felt like my mind and my body were constantly having a conversation with each other, usually my body going, "So I can really eat this massive slice of cake? You're not gonna punish me later?" And my mind literally cringing, going, I mean, if that's what you really want. And after a while, my body actually stopped wanting the stuff that made it feel bad. Of course, I gained weight because I probably had a lifetime of unlearning to do. But that's actually not what made me balloon up so big. Although the wild cravings dissipated when I had nothing emotional going on, I had some personal events that made me turn to food as comfort yet again, since I didn't have the gym to turn to anymore. So on top of trying to learn how to eat what I need when hungry and what time to stop eating feels like, I still had to figure out how to manage emotional eating. There were so many ups and downs, but I think I finally got food figured out to a degree where I'm ready and able to move forward without slipping into old patterns. I think documenting this journey will help me see if I do start to slip into harmful patterns and ideally stop them. I want to show people that are in a similar situation and of a much larger size like myself that it's possible to get healthy and lose the weight and still actually develop a healthy mindset when it comes to food and exercise. One of the first things I'm doing is accepting that this is where I am right now and that it's okay. I'm still worthy to be loved and to take care of myself. Did you know that technically calorie counts aren't even accurate? It was quite a while ago, but I read studies about it, and apparently how food scientists are trying to agree on new numbers for some calorie counts in foods. Even if that wasn't a thing, I decided that being even 50 to 100 calories off of my daily total isn't the end of the world. I just don't want to go back to defining the quality of my day based on how many of a measurement that's not even totally accurate in the first place I consumed. Experimenting with converting calories to points where 100 calories is 1 point. 30 to 69 calories is half a point, and then 70 to 100 is 1. In this case, if I consume one thing that's under 30 calories, I'll probably just consider it as 0 unless there are a few things in a dish that add up to over that. In that case, I would just lump them together and round up to half a point, depending on the situation. 120 calories becomes 1 point, and 170 becomes 2. My goal has been 20 simply because when I started in 2019 at a smaller size, my FitnessPal told me I could have 2,000 calories. And now finally time to do the painful thing and I guess take a look at my before look. This is where I'm starting. And here I'm just going to show you guys how I plan to fill this thing out. I'm just going to draw these little circles, connect them with a line, and color code them by what week of the month we're in. And as you can see, so far this month I have lost 5 pounds, and I just hope to see that trend continue. But the idea of a graph is that I know it's not necessarily going to be linear. So the basic idea is you want to continue to see it go in a downward pattern. So that's really all there is to it, and we have finally reached the end of the video, so as per always, thank you for spending some time with me and watching this video. Just remember to give the like button a head bonk if this provided any value for you, like the cute kitten you are, and I will catch you next time. Bye!